Hello, my name is Barry Rawlins. I'm standing in an experimental hutch at the Diamond Light Source at Harwell. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about an experiment that myself and colleagues have been doing here. We're studying the spatial distribution of organic carbon in the soil. And that's important because we're trying to understand how the carbon in the soil is distributed spatially within the 3D structure of the soil. And so what you can see in front of you here on this small plinth is a small vessel that contains a 6mm soil aggregate that we have taken from a soil profile in Nottinghamshire. And we have put this in the laboratory and used a chemical compound, osmium, to stain where the organic carbon is within that aggregate. And then we brought our samples here to the Diamond Light Source to study them with a high energy synchrotron radiation X-ray beam. And what I can show you a little bit is, if you turn the camera over here, this is where the high energy beam comes from the synchrotron light source into the experimental hutch. And the X-ray beam passes through here and goes through our soil sample, which is positioned here. And then the various density within the soil sample produces differential absorption within the X-ray beam that passes through the sample and goes into a camera. And that essentially can take a 3D cross-sectional image, but maintaining a full 3D section of the sample, and which we can reconstruct. And by doing that, we can start to understand the distribution of the minerals, the pore space, and the organic carbon. And that's important because we're trying to understand where the carbon is in that 3D structure of the sample. And that is important because we need to understand whether bacteria in the soil can access that carbon, which might be released back to the atmosphere. So we can start to understand processes within the carbon cycle. And we've had 10 samples that we've scanned with the X-ray beam, and we're going to study those in detail and try to pick apart this understanding of where the carbon is within the soil.